gonna go ahead and do this short story time on when did acid and shrooms. It was not a planned thing the first time that I did acid. It was more like unplanned. Like, I'm going through something, so like I'm gonna go ahead and do these drugs. So this girl who I was friends with at the time, I had barely knew the girl at the time, but we had just became friends. She told me she could get me something that could like really fuck me up. So I'm like, okay, cool, I'm down, because I want to get fucked up. I didn't think the girl would go and give me acid. Like, and again, at this time, I'm like really vulnerable. I'm really depressed. And this girl, she's been doing this drugs since middle school. So she was used to that crackhead shit. So she brings me the acid to school and she tells me to put it on my tongue for like 30 minutes and I'm gonna be feeling high. So like 30 minutes after I put it on my tongue, I'm in social studies or whatever it was at the time. I can't remember what it was. I think I was a junior. Yeah, I was a junior. And I'm sitting in class and the floor starts coming up. And I start feeling weird, like tingly. And I remember I had wrote a note to my teacher and I told him that I wasn't feeling good, so he let me go. So I remember after that I went to ROTC and I stood in a corner. None of the ROTC instructors are in there, so luckily nobody noticed. Well, they didn't see how messed up I was, but there was a classroom full of students and I barely noticed them. Like, I knew they were there, but in my head I didn't. And like, that's when it just started to intensify. Everything, like the background noise started to go dark and I started hearing what the people were saying. And I swear I heard this one guy was like, bro, she's over there tripping balls. And I really was over there tripping balls, but yeah, people were pretty much noticing that I was tripping. So I think this was like second, third period. It's still the morning time when I took this. So after ROTC, I think I had choir. Yeah, after I had left that class, I had the choir class. And that's where I started to black out. I couldn't really remember stuff, but I remember at the beginning of the class, the ROTC teacher, the band teacher, the choir teacher, they all were aware of my situation. Just that I was very emotional, very suicidal. I was a cutter and I was in therapy for a while. So they pretty much knew I was a train wreck to begin with. So it wasn't really a surprise to them when I walked in the classroom and I was fucked up. But I was not trying to get this messed up. So I remember when I was sitting in choir, I was like really jittery. I kept laughing at everything the choir teacher was saying. And usually if you talk over the teacher or you laugh while he's talking, he'll tell you to shut the fuck up. He'll be like, why the fuck are you even talking? Is this your classroom? Then you can get the fuck out. So, but he knew me, he knew my situation, so he wasn't like mean about it, I guess. And I remember, I was laughing when he was talking. The fact that he didn't say anything at the time, I wasn't thinking about it, but
on I-69 north for 6 miles.
But yeah, I was in choir tripping balls. I don't really remember how people were looking at me. I don't know if they were. Pretty sure they were looking at me. But I don't really remember any of that. After I remember laughing, I remember lunchtime came and I was standing in the choir room still and I was staring at one of my old, because the choir would have like a whole setup of all of the people who are in the choir each year. So I'm just standing there and I'm staring and I'm laughing at my picture. And I remember that. I don't know why I remember that. I just can imagine how I would look at somebody if they were tripping balls in school. So, after that, next thing I remember at the time, I had got into it with a girl. Of course, she was the captain of the cheerleading team, homecoming queen. Well, I have no fucking idea why I was in this bullshit. So I was beefing with this female, and she knew I was tripping. She was in the choir, of course, but she came up to me and she told me to leave her man alone because he don't want me and all this other stuff. And and his family doesn't like me anyways. And I was like, okay, you can have him. Like, I specifically remember saying, okay, you can have him, because I really didn't give a fuck. Like, I was feeling really high at the moment, so I felt like I could give two fucks. So, and around that time, I had found out that he was cheating on me with her, and I think, no, she didn't know, but she didn't care. She was crazy. She did not care. So after that happened, I remember I went into the hallway to try and call him, and I remember I was stuttering. I had to keep clenching my jaws because my jaws, like, I kept, like, I was just shaking. Like, it was just really cringy. I had to keep biting my jaws. And then I remember in the hallway when I was out there, I remember I seen my sister finally, and she asked me what was wrong and what was I on, and I told her. And after that, shortly, I don't know how, my glasses ended up off my face. I was crying, but crying laughing. And like, my ROTC instructor finally walked past, and my recruiter walked past, because at the time I was getting into the military, and like 4 other Marine Corps recruiters walked past. And I remember their faces, but I couldn't react because I was so high. I remember them looking at me like what is she going through? But I kept tripping balls, so I don't really remember happened after that part. The last period of the day came. The day for me was band. This was probably the worst class to be in, tripping off of acid. I guess throughout the day, I told a guy who's in band that I was friends with that, you know, to watch over me because I wasn't feeling good. So he told everybody in band that Chantrell had taken acid. And I remember how it had gotten around because I posted it on my Snapchat before I took it because I didn't know what it was. I posted me taking it. Later on in the day, that same person ended up telling my ROTC instructors, pretty much telling everybody, like, yeah, this is why she's tripping. She took acid. This is her story. There's proof. I was just stupid. Like, it's really embarrassing now, but fuck it happened. The band, they messing with me. At this point, I'm seeing like my phone, all the apps on my phone, they were floating. It looked like water. Like, my phone looked like water, if it made any sense. And I kept touching my phone to see if it would like bubble or bloop or something. But yeah, everybody was just staring at me and laughing at me. And I remember, like, I was still tripping really hard. I was sitting at a desk because I couldn't even hold my instrument. Then what else? Then I remember they started playing jungle, like they started, the whole fucking room started playing jungle music to fuck with me. And thinking about that now is crazy because everybody in the room knew I was tripping balls, bro. Everybody in the room knew I was tripping balls. And it was probably like 50, 60 people because that day the band teacher wasn't there. So all the alumni, all extra kids who can't be in the band because their grades suck dick, like, everybody was in that bitch. So everybody was in there fucking with me. But I was so fucked up, I didn't even notice. Like, my head was down at the desk. I kept playing with my phone just on the home screen and the lock screen. Like, damn, y'all, I was out here looking real crazy. By the end of the day, my sister came up to me and she was like, Mom knows that you took acid and she wants you to go straight home after school. Don't stay for practice. So I'm like, fuck. So I remember I went to ROTC after school, and still me not realizing that I'm fucked up, I was just going on about my day. So I remember I went to one of my ROTC instructors, and the next day was actually military ball, and I was supposed to sing for military ball.
1.5 miles.
So, no, I didn't go to military ball, by the way. Yeah, I was supposed to sing for military ball, but, no, I didn't. I walked in ROTC me at the end of the day, and I remember I was like, Gunny, I think I did something bad. And he was like, oh yeah, what did you do? So this is the part that really got me. This ROTC instructor might be the most disgusting, perverted, immature man ever that I have ever met. Like, and that's a whole nother story time. But this man, he was fucking with me. So I'm like, I think I did something bad. So you know I'm fucked up, so he go ahead and fuck with me. So he's all like, what you do, Jones? And I was like, I just kept saying I think I did something bad. So since I've been repeating myself the whole day, he starts repeating himself too. And he was like, what you do, Jones? You gonna sing for me? You gonna sing for me, Jones? What you gonna sing? You gonna sing for me? You look like Beyonce. He just kept saying the same thing over and over and over and over again. And I knew I wasn't tripping because I was getting frustrated. And at the same time, I remember I was seeing stuff moving on its own. Like I was seeing his mouse on his keypad moving. So I think I was just staring at it.
Follow signs for Post Oak Boulevard.
Was I just staring at it? I don't remember. Either way it go, he was fucking with me. And I knew he was fucking with me because at the end, by that point, I was fucked up. But after finding out that my mom knew that I was fucked up, it kind of killed my high. But when you're off LSD, you can't really control that shit. A girl who used to live next to me.
3/4 of a mile.
A girl who used to live next to me, I seen her and she said she could take me home. So I let her take me home, and I think I did like 3 laps around the neighborhood before I finally actually went inside. And when I got inside, nobody was there. So my people came home. My mom took me to the emergency room to find out if I've been doing it for a while. The fuck? Instead of trying to figure out why I did it, like why I put myself in that situation, or you know what's wrong with me, they're trying to figure out if I've been doing it the whole time. So no, my parents definitely weren't a help at the time, which is another reason I was taking LSD at school. So that's the end of the first time. The second time I took acid, and the same girl who gave it to me, that fucking crackhead, she still does acid, and she used to try to get me to do acid all the time. And I'd be like, fuck no. So the second time I did acid actually was with her. Yeah, I know, stupid fucking people. So, this was a year ago, actually. So this was not a year ago. This was in 2020. So in 2020, I can't remember what we were doing, but I have clips. Like, I have a bunch of clips because my friend was there and he was recording us. But, I remember taking it, and I bought it from a guy who I was buying marijuanas from. But he was also selling shrooms and acid and everything else. So I took it, and I didn't feel anything for like the first
feet. Turn left onto Richmond Avenue.
I didn't feel anything for like the first 2 hours, which was weird because it's supposed to hit within like 30 minutes. But that whole time, the crackhead I was with, she was feeling it because I was playing Pink Floyd, and she wanted to go walk outside because she said she kept tripping too hard. So when we finally came back inside, that's when I turned on the same Pink Floyd song again. It's called Comfortably Numb. And I used to listen to it all the fucking time, not on acid. And I always wanted to listen to it off acid because Pink Floyd used to make music for the mentally insane. So yeah, I put the song on, and literally it wasn't even the visual for me. It was the feeling. I felt like I was going 100 miles per hour. My vision turned into me looking like I was going 100 miles per hour. Like, it looked like I was zooming past. It was creepy. And then I rushed to go and turn the song off, but everything was off balance. I could barely even make it to turn the song off. So when I did, and finally realized I was tripping, you know, I told the crackhead I was with, I was like, my bad, bro. I didn't know you was going through it. And the whole time she was mad because I was playing the song, and I didn't know why. So do not play Comfortably Numb if you are not an A1 professional at acid. But that trip really fucked me up. I remember that whole trip. So the guy put 300 he put 300 UGs of acid drops on an acid tab. You're only supposed to put 100 UG of acid drops on an acid tab. This nigga put 3. So we tripped extra fucking hard. Like, when I say I tripped so hard, it makes me, like, I'm scarred for life. I'm traumatized. Now when I look at certain things, or if I am still, like when I smoke weed and it does something to my receptors, I can still channel back into, tap back into those images that I see when I'm off LSD. And it's like things moving ways that they shouldn't move, seeing things you shouldn't be seeing, or just weird creepy patterns, or it's hard to explain. If you did acid, you know what I'm talking about. But that trip fucked me up. Like, and what really fucked me up about the trip too was the bitch that I was with, because she kept tripping the same way harder. And when I was tripping, I wasn't saying, Rachel, look at this, look at that. Every single time she's seen something and she was tripping, she'd look at this, look at that, look at this, bro, look at this, look at that. And since I see it and I look at it, I'd start tripping too, like really hard. So I remember getting mad at her, and I was like, don't fucking do that. Don't sit here and stare at me, or don't sit here and yell at me about what you're tripping about. Just keep that shit to yourself. It pretty much killed the vibe. And if y'all know anything about taking acid, you cannot take acid with the wrong people. It's not it.
Left onto Richmond Avenue.
Ooh, don't turn yellow. Yeah, it just wasn't it. The whole vibe, it had a lot to do with it. The person who I was with had a lot to do with it. I didn't like, the blinds creeped me out, the floor creeped me out. I put on this show called Midnight Gospel that's supposed to be for when you're tripping. That show fucked me up, and I feel like I said, I would have enjoyed it a lot better if I was not with her. I'd be like, fuck it. And I really used to feel bad for the chick, well, I had friends, but none of them really wanted to be around her because she was just a hot, sloppy mess, and I was really trying to be a good friend. So at the end of the day, the acid probably didn't come down literally 12 hours. Like, I tripped super mega fucking hard for hours, and I was so mad. Like, I was upset at the guy. Like, I hit him up, and that's when he finally told me. I was like, hey, that was really strong. Like, I don't want it no more. And he was like, oh, my bad, I gave you the one with 300 UGs. I'm supposed to sell those for more. So that was that one. Like, it was just a lot of creepy shit. I had to keep imagining unicorns and rainbows and stuff like that. So the last thing that I did was shrooms. I actually did the shrooms before my second acid trip. I tried Golden Teacher shrooms, and I can't remember how many grams I got, but yeah, I tried the Golden Teacher shrooms, and I ate them with a sandwich. I ate them inside of a sandwich. And I remember I was live at the time on like one of those streaming apps, and a girl I used to talk to on there all the time, she was there talking to me. So when the shrooms finally hit and I started to see my face morph, like I couldn't even turn off the live. And while I was live, I'm like cowering in a corner in fucking fetal position, because my reflection is literally scarring me. So she had to come. I couldn't go to the bathroom for those 6 hours. But on top of that, like, other than that, the feeling of shrooms itself was just way better than anything I think I've ever felt. It had me feeling like I was on cloud 9. Like, the shrooms had me happy. It had me so happy to the point to where I was crying happy. The shrooms pretty much had me to where I was just happy. I just didn't like my reflection. And it only lasted for like 6 hours. But would I do shrooms again? I guess it depends on the time and the place, because there's really a time and a place for everything. But that was my little story time. I'm about to go and run some errands and finish my day and then go home. So y'all stay tuned, like, comment, and subscribe. Hope y'all enjoy.